Hi, boys and girls. I miss you all so much, and I am excited to be able to meet with you, if just by voice today and soon maybe face to face. Today, I would like just to take a little bit of time to review and extend our learning on fractions. So, one of the things that we talked about was we were able to take a fraction such as 2/8, and we were able to create fractions that were less than 2/8, such as 1/8, which would seem pretty simple. We also talked about making that fraction twice as small by actually doubling the denominator, which we remember said seemed a little bit unusual because fractions become smaller as the denominators become bigger. I've also taken another fraction that is less than 2/8 with a different denominator, 1/9. So I want you to challenge yourself when you do today's activity to think of one that maybe we've already reviewed and then one to deepen your learning a little bit further. Let's look at fractions that were equal to 2/8. We talked a lot about equivalent fractions. So when I look at my fraction 2/8, I know that I can take half of that. Half of 2 is 1 and half of 8 is 4. Or I could also take that fraction 2/8 and I could double 2 times 2, which is 4, and do the same thing to the denominator, 8 times 2, which is 16. Finally, I want you to try to find some fractions that are greater than your fraction. Again, mine is 2/8, so I know that 3/8, that's a pretty simple one, and obviously 4/8, which is also equal to half. And then how about 3/4? We talked a lot about those benchmark fractions, 1/2 and 3/4. So maybe compare your fractions to some of those benchmark fractions. Finally, I want to take my fraction and make it into a whole. So if I have 2/8 and the denominators are always going to stay the same, I'm trying to think of how many more 8s would I need to make one whole. So 2 plus 6 obviously gives me 8, and 8/8 is equivalent to a whole. When you complete your student book page 253 today, I chose 2/8 as my fractions by taking a deck of cards and just drawing out 2 cards from the deck. So maybe you can come up with your own, or maybe you can take out a deck of cards and just draw 2 random numbers and create your fractions. Send me what you find out on what I learned or noticed today about comparing fractions, and we will talk again soon.